From expensive jewelry, luxury cars, and $1 million house, King Von spent his money wildly. Originally growing up on the streets of Chicago, he became an overnight success with his hit songs like Took Her to the O, Crazy Story, and much more. Before his untimely passing, King Von grew his net worth to over $5 million. Starting with his collection of vehicles, King Von purchased a Rolls-Royce Cullinan for himself for $380 grand, featuring a starlit ceiling and unique backward opening doors. The Cullinan speaks luxury and is one of the comfiest rides on the market. But King Von's collection grew by purchasing a Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 for $90,000, as this was a faster ride that King Von used on the daily. Powered by a V8 engine, the Camaro tops 200 miles an hour, making it one of his fastest rides to get around. However, his dream car that he always wanted was an SRT Hellcat, which he bought for $80 grand. Both the Hellcat and Camaro line up close to each other in speed, but the Hellcat just tops out at 203 miles an hour instead. Unfortunately, those were the only cars that he bought for himself. However, Lil Durk gifted King Von a second Rolls Royce, this time being the Rolls Royce Wraith. Durk spent $400,000 on the ride to give to his closest friend, and it was well worth it, since the Wraith is one of the most sought-after rides in the world. Rolls-Royce is known for its luxury, while still keeping the engine fit with a high-powered V12 engine and having acceleration to 60 miles an hour in just 4 seconds.
How you gonna play that?
However, with King Von being gifted a luxury Rolls Royce, he'd pay it forward to his mother because he purchased her a brand new Mercedes-Benz, gifted her thousands in cash, and even bought her a house, which ran King Von $1 million. King Von cared deeply for those around him and certainly wanted to give back to his mother. As we saw him post, "I bought my mama the new Benz. I paid her old car off, and now I'm waiting for the approval of this new house for her. The best son in the world prize goes to." For real though, this is all a street guy ever wanted to do, make their OG proud. I gave her $20,000 too. King Von ended up buying the house not long before he passed for around $800,000 and even showed it off in an Instagram live.
Hey, look what I bought my mom in that big. I broke plus top playing. And she got the pond about the grass off the president. Man, how your mama house look? Go ahead, put your mama little house up there so I can flex on you. See, she gonna put a big couch I bought her right here. She gonna put that right there. She gonna put that big TV I bought her up there. She wanna put it over the fireplace. I'm like, man, that ain't gonna work over there, you know what I'm saying?
While King Von might have got a bad reputation for some of his actions and lyrics, he always made sure his people were good. But unfortunately, when Von was in the middle of acquiring a Range Rover for his sister, he wouldn't make it to fully see the deal through. It is well known to people around Von that he was going to purchase his sister the Range Rover. 21 Savage stepped in to follow through with it. As he announced in a post, "I never speak on stuff like this because I don't do it for the internet, but y'all being disrespectful. I knew Von's sister Kayla before I knew Von because she talked to my little brother. Von was already planning on purchasing the gift for her birthday, and due to his passing, he wasn't able to finish. So all I did was finish what he started because I told Kayla when he passed, I had her for life and I meant it."
I'm so happy. I love him. Y'all don't know what I was going through to try to get this car. I'm so happy. I can't believe it. He bought me a car.
But jumping into King Von's jewelry collection, he loved going out jewelry shopping with his boys. King Von easily spent up to $1 million across his life with jewelry. He first started his collection with his iconic O-block Cuban link chain and pendant that he customized from Icebox. King Von wanted to make it a standout piece in his collection, which is no surprise why the chain ran his pockets $150,000 for it. But with King Von purchasing the big O-block piece, he'd get the rest of his crew their own smaller versions of the piece. Because Von wanted to show his appreciation for them always sticking by his side, these chains ran him a further $100 grand.
Ain't nobody better stop, man. People got old. Light out the sweet up for now.
Real VV, stupid man.
But something unique about O-Block is they always have respect for their fallen members. So when King Von passed, they agreed that no one would ever get a bigger O-Block chain than King Von had.
I just feel like nobody should get the big O-Block chain because I feel like that'd be, bro, just let him have that. You see what I'm saying? Like, let him have the big O-Block chain. That's like legendary. So he should be the only one that had that chain. Nobody shouldn't go get it after him or nothing like that. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, like he the only one. Like he deserved that chain. Like that's, I don't know, cause you know he ain't here no more. So it's like I just feel like nobody shouldn't get that chain. Like,
But deeper into King Von's jewelry, you'd always catch King Von wearing his diamond OTF chain, which he customized for $40,000. However, Von also spent his money on luxury watches, because he bought himself a Rolex Date 41, while customizing it with a green dial and icing it out with VVS diamonds for 30 grand. But Von wasn't huge into Rolex pieces, so he bought an AP Royal Oak 41 watch next. It too is covered in diamonds, costing him a total of 60 grand for the piece. But the most expensive watch he ever bought was the $250,000 AP Royal Oak open worked watch. To round out his collection, he picked up a $35,000 Cartier Santos watch and a $150,000 Patek Nautilus. But just after his passing, Asian Doll commissioned a piece to remember King Von by. Spending 80 grand on it, it's a chain covered with diamonds to replicate a picture of King Von wearing a Burberry shirt. But you have to know that Lil Durk did something similar, because he purchased a VVS diamond chain with 2 pictures outlined in diamonds of Durk and Von together, as Durk calls it his memory chain. But that's without even mentioning how Lil Durk bought a $700,000 Cuban link chain covered in emerald VVS diamonds, which has a pendant that spells out V. Roy in honor of King Von.
Y'all know that V-Roy and this D thing. Y'all know where they at, man. Music.
But to show off how good of a life King Von was living, he showed a video of himself in the bank where he was depositing $1 million.
Hey, me and Louis at our second home. Where we at, Louis? This our second home?
Private client. And that was, you know, he dealing with somebody else right now. It's just all about how you do. You gotta do.
However, with King Von getting more and more attention in the rap game, beef with other rappers started to ramp up, which ultimately resulted in his passing. In November 2020, King Von was down in Atlanta to celebrate the release of his new album, Welcome to O-Block. Everyone was having a good time at the party, but once they all went to leave, King Von began acting weird, as we heard about from King Von's manager, 100K Track.
Everybody mind leaving the club is that we're going to the hotel and the Airbnb, because that's normal routine. The club he went to, the after hours, wasn't getting paid for. I didn't have no acknowledgement of. His team didn't have no acknowledgement of. That was a complete Von decision.
But rather than going home like normal, Von told his driver to go to a different club lounge called Monaco, because King Von heard that Quando Rondo and his crew were in the area. It was clear to King Von's manager that Von hadn't been acting right that night.
For some reason, Von wasn't himself. This man is like, I promise you, the best artist I ever moved in my life. For some reason that night, it was off. Like, he stayed in the car for like 35 minutes.
King Von was laid back sitting in his SUV and was extremely quiet. But once people in Von's team mentioned they noticed Quando Rondo in the area, King Von hopped out of the car instantly to confront him.
Now, right before we go inside the club, one of his homeboys, he came to the car and said, "Hey, so-and-so's here." And Von just jumped up like, "Oh, come on, let's go."
Within 10 seconds of confronting Quando's best friend Lil Tim jumped out of their SUV and did the act to King Von in the middle of the street. With the scene eventually clearing with both sides running from the scene, King Von was taken to the hospital and unfortunately passed during surgery.
This made national headlines as officials confirmed one of the 3 people was rapper King Von from Chicago, who was here last night with friends.
2 groups of individuals got into a physical altercation. That physical altercation escalated into an exchange of